Hey explorers, I wanted to make a video for you to talk about a really big word that's really important to me. That really big word is called reflection. Reflection has a lot of different meanings. For those of you who are a little bit older and you've had some science lessons or you've played around with some stuff at your house, you know that you can see your reflection in the mirror sometimes. Anytime that you see a picture, the image of yourself in a mirror, or you see a reflection of the sky in a rain puddle, that's one way that we use that word. Another way that we use that word, it's not the only other way, but one other way is when we think about what we've done or we think about what's happened. That's called reflecting on it. And that's another form of reflection. That's my favorite type of reflection. Every afternoon when I leave the school, I have my car ride that I sit and I think about what happened that day, what things went well, and what things I can make better for the next day. This is a really good practice for your personal growth because we always want to grow. Even when we're adults, we still have growing to do. And that kind of growing is usually up here. So it's always important to keep growing. The reason I'm talking to you about this today is because we have a system built into the school that allows you to reflect. It's a really neat system, and it's one that I actually had to use on myself this morning. This morning, I heard two of my friends talking about something outside of my office, and it wasn't a conversation that I needed to be a part of, but I had a thought related to their conversation, so I blurted out and joined myself into the conversation. First, it's not good to blurt out because you're not waiting your turn to talk. And second, it's really rude to just join somebody's conversation without being invited. That wasn't a very good thing for me to do, and it didn't show very good character. So I decided I would use our school's system of reflection, and I'm going to teach you how to use it too. So if there are times during the school day when you or the teacher or one of your peers notice that you could have done better at something, you have a chance to reflect on it. The way that you're going to do that is by using a think and write. Let me show you what that looks like right now. Here it is. So for our 4th and 5th graders, this is a think and write sheet. And I want to walk through with you exactly what you need to do or to get the most out of reflecting on this sheet. If you're completing this, the first thing that you do, it's always the same, you need to have your name up at the top. It's also important that you have the date and that you take note of what time this whatever it was occurred and where it happened. So this morning when I decided to interrupt my friends, it was around 8:45, so the very first thing this morning. All right, so after that, I need to look at this first area. It says, today I made a choice to, that's where you need to write what happened and include details. It says include details like who, what, where, when, and why. So it's really important that you put the where right up here, but the who is kind of tricky. It's important for you to put who as in, was it a teacher or another student or your friends, but it's very important that you don't put the actual name of who it was, because that's not anybody else's business but your memories. So when you're reflecting, you look at the statement, today I made a choice to, and then you complete it. So for mine, I said, today I made a choice to interrupt 2 people while they were talking. Rude, so rude. I was not a part of their conversation, but I had a thought I wanted to share and I blurted it out. Okay, so now that we've established what happened, the next part, I need to explain 2 ways that I might have handled the situation differently to avoid a problem. So I want to point out the use of the word problem here. Both of my friends are still my friends even though I did that, but the problem is that I know I was being rude And I have to be really honest with myself if I want to grow as an individual. So this word problem doesn't mean that something negative had to come from it. It just means that you know there's something that you want to do better at next time. Okay, so now time for me to fill out this part. The first thing that I wrote, my first way I could have handled it differently, I could have taken care of myself and stayed out of their conversation. It wasn't any of my business to interject my thoughts into their conversation. So if I had just minded my own business and stayed out, that would have been appropriate. All right, but this thinking right makes me think of two ways I could have handled the situation. Sometimes that can be tricky, so it took me a little bit longer to think about that. So my second solution I came up with was I could have waited until they were done talking, and then I could have said, "Excuse me," before sharing my thought. It still really would not have been too polite to include my own thoughts in a conversation in which I was not invited. However, if I was going to share anything at all, it was more polite, or it would have been more polite if I had said, "Excuse me," first after they were done talking. I hope this made sense, and I hope you kind of get an overall idea of what it means to reflect and how it can be such a good growth tool for yourself, because school is all about learning, but it's really all about growing. And you're not only growing with book smarts, you're also growing with being better at reading your own emotions, reading other people's emotions, reading what you need to do better at next time. And these are reflective tools that will help you do that. So anytime you're given the opportunity to complete a think and write, or anytime you feel like you need to permit yourself to do a think and write, that's not a bad thing. It's a chance for you to think about how you can get better at something for next time. I'm really excited for the next time that I have some kind of impulse when my friends are talking, because I'm going to kind of bite my words and just keep my mouth closed until it's my turn to talk, or until they invite me into the conversation, because I want to be a better person and I want to be more polite next time. I hope this was helpful. Have a great rest of your day.